Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self love, self care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about being financially fit. I'm Lady Bounce.
And I am Picket Fence. Today's Mindfulness Minute is: what is financial mindfulness and how can it benefit you? At the core, financial mindfulness helps you make strategic rather than emotional choices about money so that you feel less anxious about your finances, but rather easing your feelings from decision-making process entirely. Financial mindfulness encourages you both your brain and your gut instincts to work together. But how do you put financial mindfulness into practice? Check in with yourself before, during, and after making a purchase. Stock how your feelings are. Be honest with yourself, not judgmental, so that you can get a sense of the kinds of purchases that fulfill you the most. Plan your purchases in advance, ideally at a time when you're feeling relaxed and clear-headed. Make a list of the purchases you want to make in the next quarter or even coming year. The next time you're tempted to buy something, come back to this list and see how the purchase aligns with what you actually need. If the purchase in question isn't on the list, ask yourself, will I be thankful I made this purchase tomorrow? If the answer is no, skip it for now. The goal is to slow down and think critically about each spending opportunity. It may not come naturally at first, but the more you put these tips into practice, the more your mindful spending will become a habit. Over time, you will feel it gets easier to stick to your budget, and you may even notice that you're making a bigger dent into your debt and more progress to your financial goals.
Word up. So, joining us today, we have a special guest, Miss LaShawn, or Shawn as she likes to be called, Powell, of Eventually Yours Shawn Enterprises. She is a financial advisor and a wealth coach, a wealth management coach to help us close the wealth gap and create generational wealth. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. Let's get right into it. Talk to us about the importance of financial literacy.
Oh, yes. Financial literacy is generational. Because we as adults, most of us are privy to what our parents did and our grandparents did, right? So if they weren't financially literate, then it's going to pass down to the kids, which the kids pass down to the grandkids. So I am a testament of that. I am a victim of that because my mother, my grandparents, they weren't financial educated. So how am I going to learn from them? Because it starts in the home. Everything starts in the home, right? So if they don't know, how are they going to teach me? So financial literacy, financial education is very important. And I always tell people, if I had the financial literacy that I have now in my 20s and my 30s, my relationship with money would be a whole lot different, right? Because in my 20s and my 30s, I had this negative relationship with money. I thought money was bad because all of my problems surrounded money, right? Most of the time, I didn't have enough of it. So that created a stigma in my mind, and partly envy to those who had money, right? So it came like a negative thing with me in my household. So I'm lucky I'm not lucky, I'm blessed what I'm doing now because I'm able to, get information out to our people of color, our communities of color, so that they could know what I didn't know. Because I always say, who would you rather sit down with? Someone who look like you, talk like you, act like you, someone who you can relate to, right? I know I do. Okay. Don't give me no middle-aged white man working on Wall Street talking to me about finance. No, because I can't relate to him. But I can relate to the sister, the brother that talk like me, act like me, right? And so yes, I'm so thankful that I'm actually in this field. This is my ministry. This is how I am helping our families and our communities. So financial education is very important. It starts in the home.
Word up. That's dope. I know I was just having a conversation with our daughter yesterday, and she was explaining to me that she doesn't know different things about being an adult, like going to buy a house, about getting an apartment. And I was like, well, I can tell you what I know, but a lot of stuff there's things that I don't know. I grew up in the projects. We own our home now, and I can tell you how to get an apartment. I might advise you not to buy a house at first, but that's just because I'm the first generation of family in my family that bought a house, and it's been an up and down it's been an up and down ride. But I was trying to explain to her, she's like, well, what about getting an apartment? I was like, that's fairly easy. And when you get to that point, it would be easy to teach you. But right now, we're focusing on your last year of school and you going off to school next year. So I really feel when you were talking about, parents not knowing, be able to teach. The grandparents couldn't teach your parents, and the parents can't teach you. So I think that is very, very important.
Yes. Agreed.
What can you tell a beginning investor for how to get started in financial literacy? Like, who was like yourself, who didn't know, wasn't taught. How do we start that journey?
For me, how I started the journey, because finance is not my background. I do not have a degree. My career wasn't surrounding financial services. My career was with the federal government. That was the career I built for the last 15 years. So someone like me who didn't come from a background of financial services, I got into it starting with an opportunity. Someone presented an opportunity to me first to make money. We all want to make some extra money, right? But then I actually started to understand how important the services are that we provide to our families and communities. So I started to really get into this thing. So then I started to surround myself with a financial coach. Like my coach, my upline, he's, a broker. So I started to get in the room. I started to, educate myself on the tools and the information that I have available to me through this opportunity. So my advice to someone who's just starting out, be around people who have the knowledge. Surround yourself with people who know what they're talking about. Find opportunities that can get you exposed to, investing and, financial services and things like that. So that's what I would say to them. Be mindful of the opportunities that you seek out, because all opportunities are not good opportunities. So you want to, be mindful of opportunities that actually can help you help yourself, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us that the number one mistake that people make when it comes to investing, and how do we avoid that mistake?
The number one, they don't know how to. They don't know the information. They're not educated, so they just jump on the first boat, the first thing smoking. They don't do their research, so they're not aware of the different type of products and things out there and what can best suit you and your situation. Everybody has a financial situation, so one product may not work for you. So we don't do enough research, and we do a lot of things based on word of mouth, right? My sister did this, so I'm going to do this. My best friend did this, so I'm going to do that. So we don't actually go out there and seek the information for ourselves, so that we can interpret what's right for us and our families and our situations. So that's the number one thing. That's the number one mistake that we make when it comes to investment. We don't know the different products out there that's available to us for us in our individual situations. And number two, again, you have to surround yourself with people who know what they're talking about, people who know how to help you. When I first got started in this business, me and my husband, we didn't have investment accounts. Okay. The only investment account we had was a 401k plan. So my broker, my upline, came to our house, sat down at our kitchen table, and helped us figure out the right products for us and our situation in our household. So now we have investment accounts that we're benefiting from, that's working for us, and not a big time investment company. So that's what I would say.
I like that.
Yeah, that's real.
That's real fancy. So, what kind of advice can you give somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck who says, "I just can't save any money"? All of that sounds good, Sean. What you're saying, it sounds good, but I live paycheck to paycheck. I ain't got it. I ain't got it like that.
I understand. And listen, I was one of those people who lived from paycheck to paycheck. You were on this never ending cycle. Go to work, pay bills, go to work, pay bills. And it seems like it's always never enough. I don't care if you get a 50-cent raise, $1 raise, it just seems like it's never enough. So I would say to that person, there's something out there that's called a mutual fund, which you can start saving now, as little as you can, as little as you want. It doesn't have to be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, you can save $20 a month, $25 a month. Okay, but the important thing to realize is that you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere, even if it's $10 or $20 a month. I don't care. Something is better than nothing. I have a 19-year-old. So guess what? I'm opening up a mutual fund for him so that he can save money, when he gets paid, because he has his little first job now, right? So when he gets paid, I want a certain amount of his paycheck going directly into that mutual fund. He doesn't make a lot of money. And granted, he doesn't have, responsibilities because he's home living with mom and dad, right? But at least I'm showing him something is better than nothing. I don't care if it's $20. Have something in place that you're actually working towards, saving money, because we spend money just by walking out the house and breathing, right? We spend $20 at the 7-Eleven. I mean, a minimum of things cost $20 now, right? You can't even go into the store with just $5 or $10 anymore. It's a minimum of you coming out your pocket, with $20, even if you're going to the freaking gas station. So we spend money just by breathing, just by, walking outside of our house, we spend money. So $20, I'm not going to speak for someone else's situation because I don't know if they have it or not, but just think about it. $20 per paycheck can go a long way opposed to nothing a paycheck. You're not doing nothing or making an effort to save nothing. That can be.
Now talk to us more about the mutual fund. You said that $20. Explain to people who don't know what a mutual fund is.
Okay, so I am not licensed in that yet. I am getting licensed. I'm studying for my exam. By the way, it's called a Series 6 that you need, and it's issued by FINRA, which is federal, to actually be licensed to provide mutual funds, open up mutual funds. So I can talk to you about my personal experience with mutual fund. So a mutual fund is one of the safest ways that you can invest in. It is equivalent to a savings account, but the difference is you get a better rate of return on your money with the mutual fund than you would have it in a regular traditional banking account, right? So I'll give you an example. I'm going to only speak for me, just so you can get the gist of it. So when I first got into this business, I had a savings account, right? We all have savings accounts with our banks, right? Because we try to make the effort to save a little money. So I was doing the same thing. It wasn't nothing big, nothing to write home about, but I was still making an effort to put something aside. So we learned this rule called the Rule of 72, which tells us how banks use our money to make them money, right? How they take our money and they invest, and then the interest rate that they charge on our money, the money they make from that, they keep. And we don't see a dime of that, right? So that really peed me off. I was like, why are they using my money? I'm just a little peon, right? I'm not rich. They're rich. They got money. I don't. So learning that rule, took my savings account, took my money on my account, open up a mutual fund through the company who I'm contracted with. It only costs $25 to open up a mutual fund. Only $25. Took my money, put my money into that mutual fund. I had my account since April of 2020. My money has grown. My money has appreciated because I got a better rate of return with that mutual fund than I would a regular traditional bank account. So if I would have kept my money in that savings, my money wouldn't have grew. My money wouldn't have worked for me. And that's what money's supposed to do for us. Money's supposed to work for us, not against us. We're supposed to take that money, reinvest that money to make more money, just like the banks do, just like the rich, just like the wealthy. So we have to capitalize off the same system that they capitalize off of, but for us and our families.
Now, is there a certain age that we should get started? You mentioned your son who's 19. How early is too early to start saving and investing?
As early as you possibly can. I have a 13-year-old. He'll be 14 next month. Guess what? He's getting a mutual fund too. Okay, both of my boys, they're going to have mutual funds because it's never too soon to start saving money for your babies as well. So yes, granted, my 13-year-old, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't, have any bills or anything like that. But as a mommy, I want to put these boys in a position where they have something to stand on. Right, and not just living from paycheck to paycheck. They have assets already before they even before they get their apartment or buy their first car or buy a home or start to build a family. They already have this tool that Mama Bear set up for them that says, "Hey, I started saving. I have an investment.
That's dope. And you talked about your sons. How can you talk to us about how important it is to talk about money in relationships and in your marriage?
Yeah, so believe it or not, this was a tough road for my husband and I because I didn't know. Because I've been with him. He's my high school sweetheart. So he literally was there with me every milestone, every growth spurt, everything throughout my life. I can't think of a memory that I have without him in it. That's how long me have been together. We've been together for 27 years. We've been together for 19 years. So this was kind of a hard area in our marriage because we didn't know how to budget. We didn't know how to budget. We didn't have a house budget. We were just spending. We're just paying bills. We were at a lot of times living from paycheck to paycheck. Arguments would start because I would get mad because we didn't have enough money for this or money for that, and I just felt some kind of way. So money in marriage. Actually, we have a seminar that we do called Money in Marriage, that we go out and we talk to young newlyweds couples who just starting their lives together, and we tell them the importance of financial literacy and financial tools that's available to them so that they can have a stronger financial relationship together, because from now on it's just not about you and him, it's about you guys collectively as a family unit. So we do have a seminar that we do, and I wish somebody would have had that seminar when I first got married because I promise you my relationship with my husband would be a whole lot easier. But it's very important because the number one reason for divorce is finance. People just can't get on the same page when it comes to finance. Either someone's making more money and they're envy of that, or someone is just doing their own thing and not, taking into account the whole family unit when it comes to money. I don't know, but that is the number one reason for divorce, is just not being on the same page when it comes to finance. And I'm a victim of that because, again, that's one of the areas that me and my husband had to work on, and we're still working on it. Okay, we're still working on it because we ain't Beyonce and Jay-Z. Okay, we still got some growing to do. So it's very, very important. It could definitely make or break your relationship.
All right. Well, I know that, we've all been through this last few years of COVID, and a lot of people not returning to their original jobs and getting new jobs. Mm-hmm. So what advice or suggestion would you give someone re-entering the workforce after COVID, and how can they start to put themselves in a better financial position?
Goals. Yes, we have goals, but the thing about it is most of us don't know how to actually set goals. And one of the things that I've learned in the last 2 years since I've been doing this business is that you have to write your goals down. You have to know what you're going after. So you just can't go back to doing the same thing over and over, same thing that you've been doing before, especially if it doesn't work, right? That's insanity. So you want to write down your financial goals, because we all have financial goals. Yes, we do, because we want more. We want a better life for ourselves, right? Some of us want homes and save up for retirement, be in a position to send our babies off to college. All of those are financial goals. Okay, so we have to know what we want. Write them down, because we don't write them down, they're just wishes. They're just in our mind, but we're not bringing them to the forefront. We're not wishing them into fruition, if that makes sense. So we have to get them out of our head onto paper, put it on your wall, look at it every day, memorize it, but you have to have something that you're going after, something that you can change in reference to you going back to work and your financial situation. Maybe you want to have a certain amount of money saved up by a certain amount of time. That's a goal, write it down. Maybe you want to start saving for a house. That's a goal, write it down. Maybe you want to leave your job. Maybe you don't want the 9 to 5 anymore. Maybe, you want to work for yourself. That's a goal, write it down. So once you write it down, then you can put a plan in place on how to accomplish those goals. Because just wishing it and just thinking about it is not good enough.
I like that. So what is the number one no when it comes to finances? What's the one thing that we should just not do?
Well, first, not have a budget. Definitely know what you're working with. So a lot of us live beyond our means. We like to fake it until we make it, and that's great, but it doesn't, it can become, it become really, really, it can disturb your lifestyle if you continue to fake it and you really, really don't have it, right? You really don't have it. So definitely don't not have a budget. You got to know what you're working with. You definitely have to know the tools that's out there. If you're clueless, get with someone who knows. Our service, we have what we call the financial needs analysis. This is a process that we offer to our clients so that they can know how much money they need to retire off of and how much money you need to be saving in order to reach that goal. So seek out tools, seek out resources, people, information that will help you, not go back to the same thing that you've been doing before. And again, number one no is not to have a budget. You got to have a budget. You got to have something in place. You got to know what you're working with. And don't fake it too hard until you make it.
But with all that you have going on with your different seminars and things, what do you do for self-care?
Self-care. I love this question because with this opportunity, what we do a lot of personal development. We do a lot of working on our mindset, because the good thing about our business is it deals with people. The bad thing about this business, it deals with people. So we have to be strong. I'm telling you, I've never encountered so many different personalities and things until I got into this business. But people are people, right? The one thing that we can't control are people. People disappoint you, people, they lie, so we have to work on our mindsets. We have to have a repellent strong enough to, just keep it moving, right? Don't let that bother you or put you in a place where it's going to mess with what you got going on. So we do a whole lot of personal development, reading books and things like that. And I didn't do personal development. I didn't read like I'm reading now prior to this opportunity. The last 15 years I was with the federal government. It didn't require reading. We didn't have a book club or anything like that. They didn't care about LaShawn working on herself. All they care is about me coming to work and doing my job so I can get paid every 2 weeks. That's what they care about. So I am pretty much behind the 8 ball. I'm working to catch up, because what I should have been doing in my 30s, I wasn't, which was reading and, working on me personally as an individual so that I can be a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, a better sister, daughter, so I wasn't working on me. So now this opportunity has revealed myself to me. Now I'm learning more about who I am, and which is a good thing, because I'm not perfect. We all have flaws, but how can we address what we have if we're not aware, if we don't know? So this business has revealed a lot of stuff for me that I have to work on personally so that I can get to the next level. Because my ultimate goal is to get my business popping so that I can resign from the federal government, because that's not what God wants me to do. God wants me to do this. I know that for a fact. This is what he wants me to do. He wants me to minister to our people about financial solutions and goals and things like that. So for me, I am not the LaShawn yet that I need to be to go to the next level. I have a lot of work to do. I got a lot of personal development to do. And I know that. And I'm okay with that. And I'm embracing that. So the LaShawn that needs to go to the next level, she's not here yet. She's not here yet. But she's coming. She's coming.
Step by step.
I like that.
Before we wrap up, tell the people how they can get in touch with you.
Sure, absolutely. So my office number is 240-267-4222. That is my home number. I'm sorry, home number. That's my office number. And then, of course, I have an office text. People can text me on 240-245-0076. I do respond all the time. I'm always available. And then I also have a business web page or a business Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com EYS Solutions. I'm sorry, EYS Services. EYS Services. And so that you can look me up on Facebook and you will see my page come up. So you can get in contact with me through Facebook, my business text, or my home office number.
Word up. I'm sure people will be in touch with you. And wrapping up the show, we have to get into my favorite part of the show, which is brain science. Doom, 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 doom. Brain science.
So I know I laugh every episode, and I know it's coming. I laugh every time. All right, so we're talking about financial literacy, and now I'm going to tell you how to trick your mind to reach your financial goals. So Americans' relationship status with money is complicated. 9 in 10 Americans say nothing makes them happier or more confident than knowing that their finances are in order. But at the same time, nearly half of those people say money is the dominant source of their stress. It outweighs tensions from personal relationships and work. And it's not as if the solution to our financial anxieties is complicated. We know, save more, pay down your debt, contribute more to retirement accounts, etc. In theory, achieving a better financial self is simple. In practice, that's a whole nother issue. There's a rift between knowing what will make us happier and what makes ourselves happier. But it's not necessarily due to a lack of character or will. In many ways, our brain's hardwiring makes it harder to achieve our financial goals. But fortunately for us, the brain is a wonderfully malleable and material. And so by hacking it and its quirks, you'll find it financially easier to save money and get to an area of financial bliss, which is what we all want. So naturally, when it comes to money, a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. But sometimes for our good, humans remember their negative experiences. So when you have negative experiences with money, your brain remembers that. And then your brain starts to make changes to make your financial goals more positive. So the first step to overcoming the biases that exist in our mind as it relates to money is to allow yourself to make mistakes. Practice a little self-compassion. Don't beat yourself up about it. Cut yourself some slack and you'll build resilience and more optimism. Like you said, hang around with people who know more about money than you do. Hanging around those people ignites positivity in yourself as it relates to you and your financial goals. Another way is to make your future personal. Linking future rewards to personal events like a child's graduation or 50th wedding anniversary decreases the amount of discount that we make in the future. So they did some experiments, and many of the participants were more apt to delay monetary rewards if they viewed age-progressed photo renderings of their face by making their future more personal. So you see yourself as an old lady with all of the furs and the jewelry that your grandmama and them used to have. It's going to make you more apt to achieve that because you can see yourself in that role, which is really, really important. When we do things like that, our brains get a shot of dopamine, which is our feel-good hormone that makes us happy. So if we can make happy memories as it relates to money, we will have a much easier way of saving money and a much better relationship with money. So rising healthcare costs, financial emergencies, and low wages are the top concerns for most people. Now, these things are scary and out of our control. If we recognize the neuroscience underpinning some of these fears, can be a crucial first step achieving a financial peace of mind that 90% of us are seeking.
Word up. Well, that's our show for this week, and we'd like to thank you again, Sean, for coming on and start the process of our people learning more financial literacy. We appreciate you coming on and wish you much success in your ventures of teaching this, because it is something that is very well needed in our community.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me. And it's been so fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, that's our show for this week. You can find us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. We're on all social media, Facebook, IG, Twitter, TikTok, and anywhere you find your favorite podcast. It's your boy Picket Fence.
And I'm your girl, Lady Bounce.
We out of here. Peace.